So we will start the session. Good morning, all.
Good morning, sir.
So today we will discuss the emitter coupled logic and the emitter coupled logic circuits. In the previous session, so we have discussed low voltage CMOS logic, low voltage TTL logic, and how to interface the low voltage logics to the standard CMOS logics or the standard CMOS TTL. So in today's session, so we will discuss about the ECL emitter coupled logic. Emitter coupled logic. So here, basically, the emitter coupled logic is it is based from the bipolar logic. It is one of the bipolar logic family. And if you see the characteristics of this emitter coupled logic, so the ECL is the fastest logic family of all the logic families. So it is a very fastest logic family, even compared with the CMOS also. And so here the propagation delay of this ECL logic, of this emitter coupled logic, it is 1 nanosecond here, which is 1 nanosecond. When you see for CMOSs or for the TTL, so the propagation delay, maybe it is in the order of 20 nanoseconds for CMOS or 50 nanoseconds and 100 nanoseconds for uh, the TTL logics here. And in this emitter coupled logic, so we will use the differential amplifier configuration. So here in differential amplifier configuration, so we will connect the transistors are parallel, and in the differential amplifier configuration also we have different circuits are available in the different amplifier configuration. So in this emitter coupled logic, so we will use the differential amplifier configuration with one single end here. So one of the terminal will be kept at a reference voltage, or the one of the end of the transistor, one group of transistors are operated with the a reference voltage VR, and the other group of transistors in the differential amplifier, they will be operated with the input voltages here. So according to that, so there will be output at the differential amplifier. So in emitter coupled logic, so we will use the differential amplifier configuration. And the biggest advantage from this emitter coupled logic is the transistors operate in active and cutoff regions. So the transistors will be operate in the active region and cutoff region. So in the case of TTL, if you see, so where the transistors are operating in the saturation and cutoff, so therefore the transistors have a storage delay time. So the storage delay time will increase as the propagation delay and decrease as the speed of the device. But here in emitter coupled logic, the transistors will be operating in active and saturation. So which means that, so the propagation delay of the ECL is very small. So which is in the order of 1 nanoseconds, or it may be in the picoseconds also. It may be in the picoseconds also. And so since the transistors are operating in the active region, so it will have the fast switching speed. It will have the fast switching speed. So thereby it has a lower time delay and the emitter coupled logic, it is mainly operating with the negative power supply voltages here. So commonly, generally we use positive supply voltages for the operation of the CMOS and as well as for the TTL logic families. But in this emitter coupled logic, the operating voltages are the negative power supply voltages. They are negative power supply voltages. And the another characteristic of the ECL is small voltage swing here. Small voltage swing. So there will not be any difference of the input and output voltages. So they are very close, the input and output voltages here, and as well as the logic high state and the logic state also seems they seems very close here. They seems very close. So we will see in the explanation of the circuit the small voltage swing and low fan out. So it is the one of the drawback or the disadvantage with the ECL. It has a low fan out and it produces the constant current supply output. It produces a constant current supply output. So these are all some of the characteristics of the emitter coupled logic. So out of these characteristics, you can find the advantages of the ECL couple and the disadvantages of the ECL couple. So the advantage is the fastest of the all logic families, and it is operating in the active and cutoff regions, and it has a fast switching speed and lower time delay. So these are all the merits of the emitter coupled logic. Whereas the disadvantages of the emitter coupled logic, the first one is the negative power supply voltages. It uses the negative power supply voltages. And even we can't say that it is a disadvantage, but most of the circuits we are used to operate with them positive power supply voltages, but it is the case negative power supply voltages in emitter coupled logic. It may not be a disadvantage, but sometimes we may see that it is a disadvantage for the emitter coupled logic. But the major disadvantage of this emitter coupled logic is fan out. So it has a low fan out here. It has low fan out. And the another disadvantage is low noise immunity here. Low noise immunity here. So that is the noise margins are very low here. Low noise immunity. So the noise margins are very low here. And the one of the advantages is it has the constant current supply voltages. So these are the characteristics of the emitter coupled logic. And so here we will see the basic circuit diagram of emitter coupled logic and how the emitter coupled logic circuit will work here. So we will see the operation of the emitter coupled logic. So as we discussed that the emitter coupled logics are operated with the negative power supply voltages. But even though you are operating with the negative power supply voltages, still the circuit will be viewed as the positive logic level system. Do you get my point? So here we are using the negative power supply voltages. Even though if we are using the negative power supply voltages, but still the circuit is viewed as a positive logic level system. We know what is a positive logic level system and negative logic level system, isn't it? In a positive logic system, between the two voltages, whichever is the higher voltage, that will be treated as the logic 1, and the smaller value is treated as the logic 0. That is the positive logic level system. And the negative logic level system is opposite of the positive logic level system. So do you get that point? So now even we are using the negative power supply voltages, still the circuit is viewed as the positive logic level system. So how it is? Because the collector is maintaining at the ground level of 0 volts and the emitter is maintaining at the negative voltages here. It is maintaining at the negative voltages. So which means that it looks like the positive logic level system here. It is the positive logic level system. So now let's see the operation of this emitter couple logic. So here we have two transistors, the transistor T1 and T2. They are connected in the differential amplifier mode. And one end, so one end is maintaining at the reference voltage, and all the voltages in this emitter couple are the negative voltages only. They are negative voltages only. Negative voltages. Negative voltages. For easy to understand this, let the resistors R1 and R2. So the resistor corresponding to the transistor T1 is R1, and the resistor corresponding to the T2 transistor is R2. So for easy understanding, the value of R1 is R2 is 2. R1 is R2 is R here. So which means that they will have the identical values here. So the two resistors are with the same values here. Okay. And now here if you see why it is the emitter couple logic here. So why it is emitter couple? Because the transistors in this circuit, the transistors in the circuit, the emitters of all the transistors are coupled together here. The transistor T1 and the transistor T2, even if you have a multiple transistors at the input, they will also be coupled. Coupled together here. The emitter terminal of the transistors are coupled together here. So that's why the name, it can also be emitter couple logic. Okay, all the emitter terminals in the transistors are connected together. And now if you see here, all the emitter terminals are connecting to a current source here, or you can have a pull down resistor, thereby you can limit the current flowing in the circuit. Okay, so you can have a current source, or you can have a pull down resistor, so that the amount of current flowing in the circuit can be controlled here. That is the total current. And now here, one of the transistor is at the reference voltage VR, and the other transistor is at the logical values. The logical values are logic 0 and logic 1. Logic 0 and logic 1. For logic 0 and logic 1. So now we are in the positive logic level system. Okay, so now the logic 0 may be a minus 1.98, say. These are all assumptions only. And the logic 1 is, say, 0.9 here. So between the 1.9 and 0.9, these are all negative values. So when we use the positive logic system, whichever the value is higher value, that will be treated as the logic 1. The smaller voltage value will be treated as the logic 0. So now when you have these two values are logic values, say, so the minus 1.9 is the logic 0 and the minus 0.9 is the logic 1 here. Okay, so now for this example, let us consider these two are the logic values here. Logic 0 means minus 1.9 volt, and logic 1 is minus 0.9 volt. Okay, minus 0.9 volt. And what about the input voltage here? I mean that the reference voltage on the second transistor. The reference on the second transistor, you may take it as 1.7 volt here, say. Okay, minus 1.7 volt. And here the inputs are the logic 0 and the logic 1. So the logic 0, we are treating that 1.9 is the logic 0, and the logic 1 minus 0.9 is treated as the logic 1 here. So now let we are the R1 and R2 resistors are equal, so you can have the equal value of resistance R on the either of the two transistor network. So now let us describe the operation of the emitter couple logic. So here the collector terminal is at the ground potential, and the VEE, that is the emitter to emitter voltage, it is maintaining at the a negative voltage here, say a minus 5 volts here, say a minus 5 volts here. So comparatively the minus 5 volts, the 0 volts is the higher voltage. Therefore, this differential amplifier configuration circuit will be acting as a normal circuit here, even though we are having the negative input voltages. So now see, so now the moment here the VA is at the logic 0. The moment the VA is at the logic 0. Say. So now what is the value of VA when the logic 0? It is minus 1.9 volt. Okay. And what about on the other hand, the VR is minus 1.7 volt. Right. So now between the VA and VR, now which is the value is higher value and which is the value is the smaller value. The VR is the higher value and the VA is the lower value here, because the minus 1.9 is the smaller and minus 1.7 is the higher value. So therefore, this transistor will be conducting. This transistor will be conducting, and this transistor will also be conducting, but comparatively the VAR, the voltage at the VA is smaller value. So therefore, so the VR transistor, I mean the T2 transistor will be conducting, and there will be current flowing here. There will be current flowing in the T2 network. What about on the transistor T1? The transistor T1 will also be conducting, but comparatively the transistor T2, the transistor T1 will be at the lower value here. So therefore, it is also in a on-state conduction. It is also in the on-state, but the difference is now the current flowing in the two resistors here. So from in the T2 transistor of the network, there will be more current is flowing. So when there is a more current is flowing in the transistor T2, so what about the voltage drop here? The voltage drop will be high here, isn't it? When the current is flowing in the T2 transistor, the current, the higher current will drops the more voltage here. Therefore, the voltage drop in the resistor R is more in the T2 transistor. Now, what about the T1 transistor? Because of the smaller input voltage, the current flowing in the circuit is lower value. So because of the small current, the voltage drop across in the transistor is low voltage. For example only I'm telling you, these are all not these are all exact values. Example, let's say a 0.5 volts here, say. Because of this smaller current, there is a voltage drop of the 0.5 volts. How about the transistor Q2 here? The transistor Q2 is having the more current flowing. So thereby it has a more voltage drop here. Let's say 0.9 volt here. Let's say 0.9 volt. Let's say 0.9 volt. So now if you see the 0.5 volts on the T1 transistor collector and the 0.9 volts at the collector of the transistor Q2, these are all negative values here. Now you say which one is the logic high state value, which one is the logic low state value. The transistor Q1, I mean the transistor T1 is the output of the transistor T1 is treated as the logic 1, right? And the output at the collector of the transistor Q2 will be treated as the logic 0 here. Is it right? Because they are negative voltages. Whichever the negative voltage is higher value, that will be treated as the logic 1. Whichever the negative voltage is lower value, that is treated as the logic 0. So now at the output of the transistors, if you see, the Y1 is the collector output at the T1 transistor, and the Y2 is the collector output at the transistor Q2. Now, if you observe, the Y1 is at logic 1 and the Y2 is at the logic 0. It is the logic 0 here. So, what is the application at the input? The application of the input is logic 0 value, but you are getting the two outputs. The Y1 output at the Y1 is logic 1 and the output at the Y2 is 0 here, right? So now you just conclude for this input combination. So at the input we have applied the logic 0. And what about at the outputs of the differential amplifier? We have two outputs, Y1 and Y2. The Y1 has an output of logic high and the Y2 is logic low. So now the circuit realizing the two functions here. One is buffer, other one is inverter circuit, or you can say that non-inverter, inverter. The Y1 output is the inverter output, Y2 output is the non-inverter output. Is it clear? The point is simple one. So simple one. So do you understand this?
Yes.
So here the reference voltage is constant value. The VR reference voltage is constant value. Okay, the reference voltage is constant value. But you are changing the input at the VA here. Input at the VA. So one time you are using the -9 and the other time you are using the 0.9 volts. So now you take the second case here. So now the second case is, now you apply the 0.9 volt, which is the logic 1 here, right? The 0.9 volt is the logic 1 at the VA. So now you see the reference voltage is -1.7 and the applied voltage is 0.9 volt, -0.9 volt. So now which transistor conducts more here? The transistor T1 conducts more and the transistor T2 conducts less. T2 conducts less here. So therefore, more current now flowing in the T1 transistor, okay, and less current will flow in the T2 transistor. So because of this more current, there will be more voltage drop across the resistor, that will be as the output at Y1. And because of the less current, the voltage drop across this transistor Q2 is small value. So therefore, the output at the T2 transistor is lower value here. So now, when you apply the logic 1, the Y1 output is at the logic 0 state and the Y2 is at logic 1 here. How I am saying that it is the logic 0 and it is the logic 1? Because of the more current flowing in the T1 transistor, the voltage drop across the collector resistor is more. And since it is the negative voltage, so it will be viewed as the logic 0. On the other hand, the smaller current is flowing in the collector network of the transistor Q2. Therefore, a low voltage will be across the transistor Q2 collector network. So, and it is a negative voltage and it is a smaller value. So therefore, in this will be treated as the logic high state value. So when you apply the logic 1, the Y1 is giving the logic low and the Y2 output is giving the logic 1. So therefore, it is now totally satisfying the functionality of the inverter and non-inverter logic circuits. So this is the basic circuit of the emitter coupled logic. And one more point you can observe that, what is this current I0 here? the I naught is the total current. The I naught is the total current here. And which is the sum of the transistor T1 current, plus transistor T2 current, isn't it? Right. So the total current I naught, which is nothing but the emitter current. You can say that it is the total emitter current in the differential amplifier. So now what is the current flowing in the transistor T1? So that will be treated as the emitter current of the transistor T1, emitter current of the transistor T1, and transistor T2 current is emitter current E2 here, E2 here. So now the total current in the circuit is constant. So that's why we have stated in the characteristics of the ECL that it produces the constant current supply, because the current flowing in the circuit is fixed because of this negative voltage, but the current switching between the two transistors here. So in one case, the maximum current is flowing in the transistor T2. In other case, the maximum current is flowing in the transistor T1. So the current is same, but it is switching between the two states here. In one state, it is the maximum current. In other state, it is the smaller current. So that's why this emitter couple logic, it is also called as current mode logic here, which is also called as the current mode logic here. Because here the outputs are switching between the current states here. In the TTL logic and the CMOS logic, we have gone through the voltages levels here. When you apply the 0 volts, we are experiencing, or we are seeing the 4.6 volts at the logic output. But in this, the current defines the state of the output, whether it is the high state or the low state. Because the current flowing in the network, there will be a voltage drop across the collector resistors. And due to that, so we can define the output state of the transistor. So the emitter couple logic circuits will have the two outputs, and they will implement the two logic functions in a single gate. From this circuit diagram, so this basic circuit diagram of ECL, it implements the inverter and non-inverter gate, right? So this is about the basic circuit diagram of the emitter coupled logic. And now we will see the another emitter coupled logic circuit. Now see here, another emitter coupled logic. So now what is the difference between the first and second circuit diagram here? In the first circuit diagram, we have only the two transistors. One transistor is the reference with the reference voltage, and the other transistor with the input logic voltages. Now we have one transistor has the multiple transistors, and the other transistor network, it has only the single transistor here. So now we will see the operation of this circuit here. So what does this circuit here? So here this circuit, it implements the function of the OR and NOR gate here, OR and NOR gate. So let us check the functionality of this circuit. So let me take the inputs A and B, and we have the two outputs for the emitter couple logic. The two outputs are Y1 and Y2 here. Okay. So as we said that the emitter couple logics are operating with the negative voltages, and in the emitter couple circuit, one of the transistor, it is at a constant voltage, which is the reference voltage, say it is the reference voltage, say minus 1.7 volt. Now as we consider that the logic 0 is 1.9 volt, minus of 1.9 volt, and the logic 1 is minus 0.9 volts here. So these are the logic voltages that we have considered. So now let us describe the operation. So now the A and B are at the low voltages here. Low voltages in the sense minus 1.9, right? Minus 1.9 and minus 1.9. These are the logic input voltages. So now on the other hand, you see it has the minus 1.7 volt. So now which transistor will conduct now? Let's say the transistor, give the transistor names here, transistor Q1, transistor Q2, and the transistor Q3, this one. Okay. So now which transistor will conduct more here? The transistor Q3 will conduct more here. Why? Because it is at the lower negative voltage, therefore it conducts more here. And the A and B are at the higher negative voltages, minus 1.9, so they will be less conducting in the circuit. But the total current IE is now, the total current IE is now, it is splitting between the three transistors here. It is splitting between the three transistors, IE1, IE2 and IE3 here, right? IE3 here. So because of the input voltages, the transistor Q3 conducts more. So therefore, the maximum current now it flows in the transistor Q3. What about the transistor Q1 and Q2? They are in conducting state, but the current flowing in the circuit is very small here because we have a constant current in the circuit. That current has to only be split between the three transistors here. And because of this higher negative voltages, the transistor Q3 conducts more. So therefore, the maximum current drops in the R2 resistor because of the high current. So as it is having the more negative voltage drop, the output will be viewed as the logic 0. And because of less current flowing in the circuit and the lower voltage drop across the R1, the voltage at the V1 is low, but it is treated as the logic 1 here. It is treated as the logic 1. So now what happened when you apply the inputs are logic 0, 0. What are the outputs at the Y1 and Y2? The Y1 is at high state and the Y2 is at low state here. So now can you describe what function it is here? We are saying that it is a OR and NOR gate. So whether it is implementing that OR function and NOR function or not, now we have to check here. So this is for the first combination here. So now you go for the second combination here. Second configuration. So now the second possibility here, take logic 0 and logic 1. So the A is at logic 0 and the B is at, B is at 0.9 volts here. 0.9 volts here. Now you say, which transistor now it conducts more here from the circuit? The transistor Q2 will take more current. The transistor Q1 and Q3 will take the less current because the transistor Q2 at the base, it has the higher negative supply voltage here. Because of that, the maximum current is now flowing in this direction, right? So therefore, the transistor is conducting. All the three transistors will conduct, but the transistor Q2 conducts more, and because of the heavy current flowing in the transistor Q2, the voltage drop at the resistor R1 is high value. So when the voltage drop is high, the voltage at the V1, it is treated as the logic 0. It is treated as the logic 0 here. Okay, and what about the Y1? It takes the less current, and the Y2 is the logic 1 here, because the less voltage drop is there, and the less voltage drop will be viewed as the logic 1. So now what are the output states here for the 0, 1? The Y1 is at the 0 and the Y2 is at the 1 here. So now you can understand that whether the circuit is producing the OR and output functions or not. The circuit is producing the OR and output functions here. So now, so for NOR gate, so for the two inputs are lower inputs, the output will be high. And if any one of the input in the NOR gate is high, or the two inputs are high, the output is low. But in the OR gate, if any one of the input is high, the output is at high. If the two inputs are 0, the output is at low state here. So do you understand this circuit operation? So here this circuit, it shows the ECL, OR and NOR gate here. So these are the basic circuits, and probably we may not realize the NAND and AND gates in the emitter coupled logic. So therefore, so here in ECL we will have the NOT gate and the OR and NOR gates here, and we know that any logic function can be implemented with the NOR gate here. So therefore, if you have an emitter coupled logic NOR gate, then you can implement any of the logic function. Okay, so that is about the emitter coupled logic. And here the drawback in this basic emitter coupled logic is the fan out here. As I said that it is the fan out, so it is having a poor driving capability. So in order to improve the driving capability, so we have the advanced ECL logic families. The advanced ECL logic family is 10K family, 10,000 family, and we have another family 100K family here, 100,000 family. So what are the improvements that we can see from the basic ECL to this ECL 10K family? So in this, an emitter follower circuit is used to shift the output levels to match with the next stage of the ECL circuit. Therefore, it improves the driving capability. It improves the driving capability up to 50 milliampere. So in 10K and 100K logic families, we use the emitter follower here. That is one improvement from the basic circuit. And the second one is, so here we need not to have the external power supply to provide the reference voltage to the ECL logic. So we have a reference voltage in the ECL logic, VR or VBB. You can say VBB also. So this reference voltage can be provided with the internal bias network here. So therefore, we need not have a separate external power supply here. So that reduces the one power supply here, and within the internal circuit itself, we can provide this bias voltage to the ECL logic. And the another one, this ECL logic family, it is designed to operate with the VCC is 0 and the VEE is minus 5.2 volts. But rightly we discussed about the circuit with these values only. But especially this ECL 10K family is operating with the 0 to minus 5.2 volts. So what is the significance of going with this minus 5.2 volts? It will improve the noise immunity. As I said, it has a very low noise immunity levels, low noise margin levels. So they will be improved by taking of this higher negative voltage of -5 to. So these are all the improvements for the ECL 10K logic family compared to a basic ECL or the current mode logic. Now here you can see the voltage logic levels and the noise margin levels of the ECL 10K family. Now see here, you can see with respect to the input and with respect to the output, you have the maximum and minimum values of the input high state and input low state, and similarly at the output also you have a maximum high and maximum and minimum values for the high state and low state here. But what is the DC noise margin? The DC noise margin is the difference between the high state, it is the difference between the high state of the minimum value and the low state of the minimum value, and similarly the low state DC noise margin is the difference between the VIL minus VOL maximum. So now you can see from this diagram here, the noise margin levels are these one. See this? These are all the noise margin levels here. Okay. And now what is the DC noise margins for the high state and the low state? For the high state, it is the difference between the minus 0.98 minus of 1.105. So this will gives us minus 1.25 volts here. So which is 125 millivolts here. And for the low state DC noise margin, it is the difference between the minus 1.47 to the minus 1.603. So this will gives us 1.155 volt here. That is 155 millivolts here. So these are all very low noise margin levels here. So that means these are the very high susceptible for the noises. So here you can understand the voltage levels and noise margin levels of the ECK 10K family. And now what are the examples to this 10K family are? So some of the examples are, see the 10 102, 10 181 and 10 129. So they will be differentiated with the a quad, hexa, the number of gates for the that IC, and also with the a little power operating voltages. So these are the voltage noise margin levels of ECL 10K family. And now here you can see the circuit diagram of the ECL OR and NOR gate here. So this question is also important. The only difference, so here we have only the additional circuits are added here. See, till this point, see this, till this point, if you see, this is just looks like a basic emitter follower, isn't it? Right? It just looked like a emitter follower here. This part. But now see here, we have an extra circuit which is called the bias network, which is called the bias network here. This is called the bias network here. This one, bias network. Bias network. And the second one, if you see here, it is the complementary emitter follower output. So why we are using this complementary emitter follower? The emitter follower can improve the current capability of the next stage circuit, because the output, the current flowing in the output stage can handle the next stage input here. Actually, it has a drawback for the ECL that it has a low fan out. So now to improve that fan out, we have made two changes in the circuit. One is we have a network which is to provide the bias voltage, and we have at the output, we have the emitter follower circuit. See, the output of this circuit, it is connected to the one of the emitter circuit, emitter follower circuit, and the other output of the circuit, it is connected to the another emitter follower circuit here, just to improve their output currents here. And the biasing circuit is to have to provide a reference voltage here. So therefore we need not any external power supply. So within this the circuit itself, you can have the constant reference voltage. Constant reference voltage. The operation is same. The only difference is we have extra circuits are added here. They are the bias network and the complementary emitter follower, except that it is remaining same. So even you can see the operation with the help of the functional table, with the help of the functional table here. So whatever the voltages that we have considered here, for logic low it is minus 1.8, for logic high it is 0.9 volt. So in the beginning itself we have seen that how the circuit will behave with the logical values of minus 1.8 and minus 0.9 with a reference voltage of the minus 1.29 volt. So I think again we need not to discuss about this circuit, but you have to observe that how the circuit is behave for the given inputs here, because we have only extra two circuit parts here, but that will be that they are used to improve the driving capability of the circuit here. Okay, so this is the two input OR gate, ECL, OR and NOR gate. So here you can take the truth table. In the exam point of view, you need not to draw, you need not to give this functional table. Okay, if you can give this functional table in the exam point of view. If not, you can explain with the circuit with the truth table and the logic symbol. So the logic symbol, see, the ECL gates have two outputs, output 1 and output 2. So the output 1 is the NOR output and output 2 is the OR output here. So this is about the ECL 10K logic family. Now the last one we will conclude here with 1 minute. So the next ECL family is 100K family here, 100,000 family. So the examples to this 100K are the 100, 101, 100, 107, 100, 170. They are the part numbers to identify the ECL 100K family. And here you can see the difference between the ECL 10K and ECL 1000K. So what is the difference? What are the differences between the ECL 10K and ECL 100K? They are differentiating. They are differentiating with respect to the power supply. Because with that power supply, there will be a proportional delay. I mean the propagation delay and the transition times and the power consumption here. Power consumption here. So these are all the differences of the between the ECL 10K and 100K here. So here you can observe that it is minus 0.2 volts for the ECL 100K, minus 4.5 volts for the 100K. So somewhat the ECL are the lower voltages than the ECL 100K. But if you see the propagation delay is very small here comparatively 10K here. Okay, and also the switching times also. If you have a lower propagation delay, the switching times are very high here. Okay, and this is the final conclusion for the unit 1 here. The comparison between the TTL, CMOS and ECL families. So here we have compared with the 5 characteristics, but even if you refer different textbooks, so even there are more parameters are differentiated among the TTL, CMOS and ECL. So here you can have a look to the comparison of the TTL, CMOS and ECL families. So out of the 3, which is the fastest device? Out of the 3, which is the fastest device? ECL here. So which is having the good noise margin levels? CMOS. And which is having the lower power dissipation? CMOS. Which is having the highest fan out? CMOS. which is having the highest figure of merit? CMOS. So which means that out of the different logic families like the TTL, ECL, CMOS, the CMOS is the most commonly and the CMOS is the most widely used logic family here. Because of these advantages here. And however, the speed is also high. Okay. So with this we can conclude. So with this, we can conclude for the unit 1. So we have completed the unit 1. So in the unit 1, we have covered the CMOS logic, CMOS circuit, CMOS electrical behavior, bipolar logic and bipolar logic circuits, and the interfacing of the CMOS and TTL, and the interfacing of low voltage CMOS and low voltage TTL, and then the ECL logic and ECL logic circuits. So these are all very important. Somewhat the unit 1 is a bit of a lengthy unit. So we have completed the unit 1. So from the next class, so we will start the unit 2, so which is the introduction to the VHDL language. Okay. So do you have any doubts? Manasa, yeah? Shall I end the meeting?
Yes, sir.
Okay, thank you all.
Thank you, sir.